Like hush. PKA gems.
Yeah.
There's a show on Netflix called Alone. It's a reality show.
Oh yeah, I've watched that.
10 different contestants, and they throw them into northern Canada to survive. And the last one to tap out and quit wins. I think it's how much money is it? It's like 100,000, 500,000. It's a significant amount of money. And so these people are not average Joes. They are survival experts. So when they show up, they're not like, wonder what I should do. They're like, first thing I'm going to do is start setting the traps, and then I'm going to start on the log cabin. And they build cabins. They take a saw and they saw down trees that are like 3 to 6 inches in diameter, and they make cabins. They're laying them up. One lady makes a dugout. This little British lady who's like 40, 50. She's like made a dugout and then built a cabin roof over it, and she can't find any meat. So she has been living for months only on vegetables, eating berries and making like root teas. She's lost like 30 pounds. Alone. It's on Netflix.
Oh,
it's like Survivor.
I did see that.
Survivor, but good.
The one guy showed up obese, like very obese. That's just fuel. He got to bring a bushel of food, so he's down 60 fucking pounds, and he's like
Richard Hatch style.
He's like, you think I'm ready? He's like, they have to record themselves, and he's like, today, he's filthy. By the way, he didn't wash his hands he didn't wash his face for the first 50 days, so he's recording himself, and he's like, today's the day I tap out. Nah, I'm just kidding. I got more weight to lose.
So was anybody else pissed? Were any other contestants like this? Come on, the big fucking.
Well, they don't see each other. There's no interaction. They're all in their own areas. They're all getting like harassed by grizzly bears.
Are they getting any kind of status updates?
With what?
Like, do they know maybe there's 7 competitors left?
Yeah, they get stuff like that, and they've got like an emergency thing. So like, one guy.
No, they don't get told. They don't get told.
I don't know if they get told or not.
No, they don't get
what
told.
I saw was the good part was when the guy is going to tap out early, and he'd been talking a big game, and he's crying, and like this grown man is crying, and it reminded me of those guys in 60 Days In that quit in like intake.
Yeah,
because I can't tell if he's being fake or not about if he's just bitching out or if he actually has chest pains or what his deal is. But what he did was he was so scared of bears, he spent the first 3 days building shelter and just starved himself to like low blood sugar, and then his chest started hurting and he tapped out. So they come and get you out of there.
How epic was the shelter? Was it bear proof?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He built a little cabin. They build these log cabins out there. They're pretty impressive. The one guy,
most of them
have no meat when there's grizzlies all over the place.
This one guy killed a deer with a bow right away, and he smoked the deer. He made a smoker.
That guy seems like he's well in the lead. He
smoked the deer, but he's like, that deer ain't gonna last me all winter. I gotta find something else. The other guy's finding mushrooms. He's got this big hoard of mushrooms he's picked, and he catches the squirrels getting at his mushrooms and running off with them. So what does he do? He follows the squirrels home, climbs up in their tree, and takes all of their mushrooms
and kills them. Probably
this guy's cool. Alone, I want to see this.
Yeah, it's fun.
They can take like 10 items with them, and one thing that I always like, I always look at it and I'm like, why do none of them take hunting rifles? Hey,
they probably have rules.
Is that against the? Because that's like the first thing I would take.
It's definitely against the rules.
308.
Because where they were, I know in this season, they weren't allowed to shoot, I think, the bear, and they weren't allowed to shoot something else. And it was at a certain point, they're like, all right, the season that allows you to use nets for fish is open in Canada. Now you may use your nets. And so they're using these gill nets, which are like those nets, I guess, that you either cast or like leave set up, and they're all getting tangled. And it's just like, let's check the net today. The fat guy's like, I don't even want nothing to be in the net. Today'd be a good day to burn a little fat. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I don't need no food today. I hope there ain't a fish in there. Oh God, I hope there's a fish in there. Yeah.
Like in the first season, there's one dude that just eats kelp He just fucking canes it. It's like, fuck, that would be
Are there multiple
disgusting.
seasons of Alone, or are we all talking about the same season?
Yeah, well, I've only watched the newest season. I clicked that one because I'd never heard of the show.
I think there's like 6 seasons, something like that.
New location every time, you know. So it's But the one I'm watching, they're in Canada. It's cold as fuck, and they're just trying to not starve to death and grind it out until they're the last one standing.
I might watch this. I've got some extra time on my hands.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about things to suggest to you to do since I've
been writing them down.
Yeah, that show's fun. I like survival shows in general, and I got to be careful though because a little bit of me would be like, "Hey, it'd be fun to do that," and then I'm like, "You fucking dumbass! You've done that. It wasn't fun at all." Do you remember the Muffin Man?
When did you do it?
Oh my god, me and Woody have
never mind.
We've done it a couple times. One time, and I drank river water and got violently ill and had to go home. And then we did another time, and we essentially starved for a week in the woods of Georgia, sweating our balls off, and got stinky and lost a little weight. And then I couldn't find anything to kill or eat or fish up. Woody caught a crawfish and boiled it and picked at it. Two
crawfish is not much food.
King's ransom.
At a restaurant, you'd want at least a dozen and some sides, right? So like, you know, it was
a PKA starving trip. Welcome to the PKA weight loss
people always
weekend.
say that. They're like, they're like, what would you do if the apocalypse come? And I'm just like, I just fucking kill myself, man. I don't want to fucking hang out in a world with no internet. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I'd be okay with that.
Like,
I wouldn't miss the internet.
Go. Don't just punch out.
Fuck that. Man, I want to fucking.
I think I would go until I realized I was losing. Right? Like, oh, it's an apocalypse. Maybe I'll win. No,
it's a zero-sum game. You can't win.
Yeah, and Woody's right. You go until like it's clear that like the Negan has already been established, and then you're like, no, you know what? I don't. It's because I don't want to play. And then I could totally win, but I don't want to play Apocalypse.
I don't want to. Fuck it.
Yeah, there's nothing left for me but Negan burning my face with an iron.
As long as you don't step out of line, that won't happen.
Well,
like all his rules.
I mean, I might enjoy becoming a Negan. Like, I could start a cult and just like fuck.
Everyone thinks they're going to be Negan.
Everybody thinks they're going to be the Negan. I'm over here like, maybe I could be useful to Negan. You need to calm down with, that's a boogie mentality, right? Like, I'd be the Negan.
I'd be
I could try. Be Negan's jester.
Big boys do what they want.